So Florida is really a lucrative market. Many of the Florida counties, all 67 of them, will report tax defaulted property. Wow, in the past few years, Florida's been a fast-growing market. It's practically exploding with new people coming from all across the United States. Now, I'm a specialist in a hidden market, which I'll tell you about in this episode, and I'm going to show you a hidden market example before I finish the episode. Now, Florida's in the news a lot today because real estate investors, well, they're looking for bargains. So I talk about bargains all the time, and I'm going to show you how to find those bargains here in the state of Florida. Now, Florida is a growth state, and it is for a lot of reasons. So I'm going to show you how to find the bargains in real estate and how to get really good prices. Later in the episode, I'll reveal an actual example and show you how one of my investors made over $100,000. Now, that's unusual now, $100,000 on one deal. This business has been around for over 200 years, but I'm going to show you how to take advantage of real estate in the state of Florida, and everything I'm going to talk about is 200 years old. So my name is Ted Thomas. I've been involved in a subset of the tax defaulted business, the real estate business, I should say, traditional real estate, for over 30 years. Now, the subset I'm going to talk about is tax defaulted real estate. Now, that would include tax lien certificates and the tax defaulted property. So you're going to get a little foundational material about that right now. Now, these properties are the same as traditional real estate, except the property owner has defaulted and they're not paying their property tax. Now, if you don't pay property tax, there's going to be a consequence. All right, now, what is traditional real estate? First of all, it's homes, it's vacant residential lots, it's also small apartment properties, could be small farms, even could be small office buildings. All right, that's traditional real estate. So what is tax defaulted real estate? It's the same properties, except the problem is that the property owner has not paid the property tax. All right, when they go into default like that, that causes big problems at the county. So this is a large market in Florida. Now, when I first learned about this, I was really surprised, and you're going to be surprised too. All right, so Florida is really a lucrative market. Many of the Florida counties, all 67 of them, will report tax defaulted property. The county will send many notices to those people and tell them they must pay the taxes. Now, those notices are called notices of default, and if you ignore that default notice, the county will then not just lien the property, but they'll levy it, then they'll confiscate the property, and guess what? Once they confiscate the property, they're going to sell it at a live or an online auction for pennies on the dollar. Now, what does that mean? Well, they're going to confiscate that property, and the county treasurer will sell it sometimes for 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar. Now, I don't know that it'll actually sell for that, but the starting price could be low, but the highest bidder is the one that wins that property. All right, now these auctions are conducted by the official county treasurer. It's an auction process, and the treasurer will cancel, and then when I say cancel, I mean they're going to delete the mortgage or the deed of trust loan on their property. Wouldn't you like to own a property without a mortgage or a deed of trust loan? Now, for the past 30 years, I've been involved in tax defaulted real estate. Florida is not the only state that sells tax defaulted property. All 3,000 plus counties across the United States will sell tax defaulted property. But you're looking for a bargain, you're looking for one in Florida, these tax defaulted auctions are taking place all the time. All right, now, what happens? The property owner doesn't pay the tax. The county, first of all, does a lien on the property. If the people don't pay, then they're going to go ahead and levy on the property. They'll confiscate the property, and they'll sell it. Every one of the counties in Florida will have an auction every year, and they sell these tax defaulted property for pennies on the dollar, and they eliminate the trust deed and the mortgage. Now, that doesn't mean they eliminate the liens that are coming from the federal government or from a municipality. So you're getting the idea. You got to check those liens and make sure you don't buy a property with a lien on it. Now, this is a simple process. However, I didn't say it was easy. You're going to have to learn how to do it. That means you're going to have to get some knowledge. You have to go through a learning program to do it. Okay, now there's lots of successful buyers, so there's going to be competition at the auction. Now, other people, they don't do very well because they don't learn about it. Why don't they want to learn? I don't know. But what they do is they cause themselves problems at the auction because they bid the properties up. All right, these are bargain properties. You want to buy them as bargain properties. People that don't know what they're doing, they don't go look at the properties, so they bid them up. And on top of that, they haven't already figured out an exit strategy. The exit strategy is important. If you want to get to the bank, you're going to have to sell that property. You see those little white circles? That's how many auctions are taking place within that state. This calendar updates every single day. I'm here today to show you how to make money. To do that, I'm going to show you briefly that there are thousands of tax defaulted real estate properties across the 3,000 plus counties in the United States. This is quite interesting. You're looking at the Ted Thomas Magic Interactive Map and Auction Calendar. It changes every day. Now, I created the calendar and the map so I would know how many auctions are taking place every day in the United States. Now I can show the little guy how to make money. Most importantly, I created this system so I could have an auction list for each auction 24/7. Small population counties, they're going to have dozens of these properties, okay? Sometimes they'll even have hundreds of properties to sell. The large population counties will have hundreds, maybe even thousands. I've been to auctions in places like California where they'll have 1,000 or even 2,000 properties to sell at the auction. Why did I show you the tax defaulted auctions and the interactive map? Because this is a large business in the state of Florida. All 67 counties will auction tax defaulted property. The county levies. Once they've levied, they're going to auction the property out. So once the county is levied on that property, they're going to sell it for 10 or 20 cents starting bid. However, it will go to the absolute highest bidder. Now, as I say, it starts at low prices. I don't know what it'll sell for exactly, but it'll certainly be less than the market values. Okay, now throughout these videos, I show interesting examples. I'm going to show you one of those now of one of my students that made over $100,000. So keep in mind, these are examples, all right? These are students that are motivated to succeed. I don't know if the average person is going to make this much money, but I can tell you right now, if you don't get in the game, you won't have a chance to make this much money. All right, the property goes to the highest bidder. You could have a bid starting at 10 or 20 cents, but it will sell to the highest bidder. So put that in the back of your mind. So what would you do with this property when you get it? Well, you would sell it. Now, who would you sell it to and how would you sell it? You could use eBay. You could use Redfin. You could use Craigslist. You could use a multiple listing service. You could use Zillow. You're getting the idea. There's lots of ways to sell the property. Don't forget, Facebook Marketplace is another place to sell the property. For example, in a local county, in a small populated county just north of Tampa, Florida, my student invested only $9,100 at a tax defaulted auction. All right, now the property was not a pristine, new-looking property. It was used, it was abused, and it was completely overgrown with trees, and that's why people didn't bid on it. All right, well, the tax assessed value on this property was $91,000. Now, don't be confused. $9,100 my student paid. The value was $91,000. Now, using the techniques that he learned in my training, what did he do? He went out and looked at other comparable values, and he found comparable values for that kind of property were up to $150,000. So what did he do with the property? We teach people to buy it low and then resell it. Okay, you don't get to the bank until you resell it. So my student sold to a handyman that wanted to fix it up. The handyman gave him a small down payment for an option to buy it. The down payment was only $5,000. However, he agreed to make payments until he had paid $150,000. So, folks, the investment was $9,100, and now the property was sold for $150,000. Ask yourself this question: how many deals like that would you like to make this year? Okay, now this is a simple business. I didn't say it was easy. I'm just giving you a teeny tiny glimpse of the spectacular kind of returns that can happen in a tax defaulted business. Now, there are many more of these examples in other videos that you can watch on the YouTube videos that I produce. So keep in mind, these are motivated sellers and motivated buyers. All right, the seller lost the property at auction. The motivated buyer is there and looking at these properties. Now, not everyone is successful, but I can tell you right now, you won't be successful unless you get involved. So many people like to buy these properties and hold them. We like to teach people buy it and quickly resell it. Some people buy them and fix them, make rentals out of them for vacation rental. It's a very exciting market because you're buying at rock bottom prices if you're a knowledgeable bidder. All right. Now, I know fix up and rent is popular. That's a good thing for you because that's who we sell the property to. Guys and gals that want to fix them up. There's other people that want to flip them. That's another whole market. And then there's a whole market where people want to make these into mini mansions. What do? They're renovators. That you see those TV commercials about. In 30 minutes, they take a property and they knock down the walls and they put new concrete and new paint and they sell that property. So they make a mediocre property into a mini mansion. All right, this is happening in all 67 counties throughout the state of Florida. So Florida is an attractive market because we have a big influx of people. All right, people like this state because there's no taxes to pay to the state. You have to pay your federal tax, but you don't have to pay state taxes. All right, now, when you're buying at tax defaulted auctions, it's buyer beware. What does that mean? These properties are sold as is. That means the county is not giving you any guarantee as to the condition of the property, and they're not giving you a warranty or any kind of guarantee whether they have a clear title. All right, so I'm running out of time, so I want to tell you this before I go. Right below me, you'll find an auction calendar. Sure enough, the properties the counties that have low populations will have dozens of properties to auction. The counties that have hundreds of people living in the county or even thousands, they're going to have hundreds of properties, even thousands of properties at these auctions. If you want to know more about that, go right below me and we'll show you where the properties are located and how many. My name is Ted Thomas. I'll see you on the next video.
I made $100,000 my first year.
Don't forget, request your free gift right below me.